What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, with me on audio is my co-host Lance. Say hi, Lance.
Hey guys.
As always, guys, if you enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. All right, so today we're going to be talking about, or kind of giving our thoughts on the Harry Potter series, or the possible Harry Potter series from HBO Max. It's still in early production, or it's not even in production technically. Technically, they're just throwing the ideas out. Hopefully, it's going to be a creation that we recognize, but I think they're still trying to find ways to include Harry Potter without J.K. Rowling. What do you think of the what do you think of the series in general? What would you want to see out of it, Lance?
I'm excited for anything to do with Harry Potter for one.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see almost kind of like maybe something about Harry and Ron and their kids instead of just cutting them completely out of it. But I also wouldn't mind seeing something over the founders of Hogwarts. I'm just glad that they've ruled out the cursed child.
Yeah, from what everything that I've been reading on it, the cursed child isn't one that's going to be in the making of it. Like it's not even. I don't even think
Good.
it's an option.
Look,
Uh,
that was crap, and I don't
yeah, it
care.
was.
But
Like I could see them maybe doing a cursed child light version of it, like one that does have Harry Potter's kids in it, and the Weasley's kids and all that in it,
yeah, I
but
would,
not
but I
not the
would
same
prefer.
storyline.
Yeah, I would prefer just a different storyline.
I would like to see that. I'm like
But
you. I would actually
eh,
do what?
everything's so up in the air right now, though. So there's
Yeah.
really no telling what they're gonna do just yet. But I'm excited to find out. I'm excited to see where they go with it.
I'll be
I
on.
know.
Look, I would. I'm like you. I'd be really excited if they did something with the founding of Hogwarts. I would really love to see that. I would maybe even be interested in maybe a Voldemort, Dumbledore series when they were kids, or something along those lines, or like kind of in that area. Maybe Dumbledore as a student. I would kind of like to see maybe something like that. Um,
See, I'm not too big into the Dumbledore as a student. I don't have
mm.
much interest in that because I
maybe
just
that's water that's kind of been treaded before in a way. If you really think
I
about it,
kind of feel like
you
we
kind of know
kind
a
of
lot
already
about it.
know what that would entail.
I would maybe even like to see like the makings of like the Death Eaters or something along those
You know,
lines.
I wouldn't mind seeing us having a little series about like Harry's parents and Snape and all them as students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That
yeah,
I mean, because you saw little glimpses of their student life through like memories and stuff, but not
yeah.
enough to really gauge what it was all about, how it all came to fruition.
Wouldn't it be kind of odd if like everything that we had thought was actually completely and totally wrong? Like what if you find out that I don't know Snape was justified in every single way, or something
Or
along those lines?
or he was completely unjustified.
Yeah, or unjustified. Yeah, I mean, and it would just. I think
Because
that.
sometimes, like, I don't know, sometimes I theorize a little differently than most fans, and sometimes I feel like I don't know if Snape really actually loved Harry's mom or if he saw her as his possession and it got taken away from him.
I could, if I had. I don't know. I think J.K. Rowling's intended it to be love, but the way it come off in the books and in the movies to me was more of like he was obsessed with her
Yeah,
and
that's
more than he
yeah.
was loved her.
And
But
that
that's the
obsession
way
got
I
taken
personally think.
away, and yeah,
But
it
but
was.
but I will say this. Right now I'm still not gonna go. I'm not gonna get my hopes up too much for a Harry Potter series. because right now it feels like it all depends upon how little J.K. Rowling has to do with it. I don't believe that if J.K. Rowling has to be a big part of it, I don't believe HBO Max would go through with it. I just don't believe that. I feel like there's too much bad blood towards her right now
Well,
in the
I mean,
world.
I don't know. I
They're
feel
too scared
like
of Twitter.
if they try to push her out, then it'll never happen.
I kind of feel like fans of Harry Potter would be pissed if she wasn't involved, but then Twitter would scare them so much that they would be afraid that,
It's possible, but I really think that if they try to push her off of it, it just will never happen because she's gonna be like, "Screw you guys," then.
yeah, I really, to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what was in her contract or what other kind of things like that or who has the rights to Harry Potter, but if she has any rights to Harry Potter and they don't include her, I think she ought to just be like, you're not getting anything Harry Potter related. Like, that's the way I
Yeah,
look at it.
yeah, I would agree with that completely. I mean, you're not gonna screw me out of something
No,
that I
no.
worked so hard for. Like
And
it's just not gonna happen.
But see, I think that's the only thing right now that's hindering a Harry Potter series. And I would almost ask, why did it take so long for this to even occur? Even before all the controversy, when they were still young, when Harry Potter and all them, when it was fresh and new. When did the last movie end? Was it 2011?
I think it was 2012.
2012. Well, see, around in that area, like, if they would have come out in, like, something like 2014,
Well,
2015 area,
I think a big
I think it would have
reason
been great.
why I think a big reason why it didn't happen immediately like that is the actors who played these characters probably wanted to go out and try to do
Yeah.
something different for a little while. Like I know that there's always a bittersweetness to something like that ending. They're sad to see it go, but they're also look forward to doing something else with their lives.
I think
And I
I,
think that played a part in that. Like they just kind of,
I think Hermione thought she was going to be like the breakout actress from this, and to a certain extent, she was. She was given a lot of opportunities where she's kind of failed, and it's not necessarily on her; it's more on the movies that she's
to an
decided to
extent,
play upon.
I've seen quite a few movies with her after Harry Potter that were pretty good. So
She's a good actress, but I'm talking about like box office success. Like, she
yeah,
really hasn't had that too much. But that being said, I bet Rupert Grant and Daniel Radcliffe would be excited about it because their
I
careers haven't
know
exactly turned out the way they probably hoped.
I know Rupert Grint would be because he came out and said something about he would
Yeah,
like to play Ron Weasley in a upcoming
yeah.
whether it be movies or a TV show. So I know he would be for sure.
And
But
see, they could play. Look, they could even play themselves now, and then and then have teenage characters. That's, I guess, kind of
they
the
get
beauty of
well
it to a certain extent.
that's kind of the thing I was thinking too. If they did not even necessarily where they already have their kids, but if
Hmm.
they did something over like what they did after Hogwarts,
Yes. I,
the Aura office and Hermione working at the ministry and doing what she
yeah.
does, and
I
that
personally,
would be
I personally believe that they could take the best out of the cursed child and put and kind of take some things like
yeah.
about
I
Harry
mean.
Potter's kids, but don't make it like any of the story that was told in it, but kind of have something that where they're kind of background characters to a certain extent, like they're the parents more than the
Yeah,
kids.
that could be something they could do. Even looking at how she ended the final movie, like
Yeah, yeah.
where they jump ahead and they're dropping their kids off at the train station, and
I
I
would
mean,
I would love to see Harry Potter as an Auror. I would love to see, the adventure, him in that category. Maybe even have like a kind of like what you would call a detective thing with Harry Potter. Something along those lines, something to do with like magic.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
interested in
like
that.
where they're going after some of these up and coming dark wizards,
Yes.
because I mean, there's going to be some evolving after
Yeah.
Voldemort, so
I think they could do something different, and then it would be special. But okay, here's another question I got for you. Do you think HBO Max is the right place for a Harry Potter series?
I would say yes. I love HBO Max,
I,
but
I see. I love HBO Max, but I always think I'm like, this series started off as a kid series, and now it's gonna be on HBO Max. It's gonna be dark,
to me, well, see,
and
to me
the
that
books
actually
didn't
makes
grow.
sense. That makes sense for me because she grew. The books got darker and the
Yeah,
movies
true.
got darker for the generation that was into Harry Potter, which
Yeah,
would be people our age now, like so I feel like that would be okay if it was a little bit dark because not now that's if that depends on which way they're going with it though. Like if they're going with it from they're going to do it over like let's say Harry Potter's kids and Ron's kids and through school, then they're going to have to tone it down because
yeah,
that's going to be for the next generation more than it is for us.
yeah. Me,
So to me, that question, it's a good question, but it kind of depends on which route they take with the series.
yeah.
Like,
I agree with you with that. The only thing I always think of it from a marketing, not a morality standpoint.
yeah,
And by marketing, I mean, you know, if you put something like, let's say, and anything that has to do with HBO, then you take away a large chunk of specific audiences, and parents that grow up on these specific shows won't
but
necessarily be able to
that's also
introduce a newer
the
generation
thing
to this
too.
new series.
The thing too, there are shows on HBO Max that are like family
Yeah,
oriented.
yeah, they
So
can
I
be.
mean, they could do it without having to go dark mode, But
I think it'd almost be too tempting, though. Like, I think it would be tempting. Which there's some
I
cool
think,
things,
like I
with
said,
the
I do
dimensions.
think, I think that would depend on the storyline, like
Mm.
which direction they're going. If they're trying to go with the story of Harry Potter as an adult, it might could be a little darker. But if they're trying to do it with his kids, it would have to be lightened up, from my opinion.
Yeah. Which route story wise would you rather see? Would you rather see something to do with Harry Potter? Would you like to see something more to do with the founders, like of Hogwarts? Like which direction? If you were the showrunner and you had the choice, which would you pick?
Oh man. I think if it was my project, I would go the route of doing it for about his kids. That way you can reach a new generation of fans and kind of, keep the franchise growing in that way. Like, it's like everybody always says the kids are the future of the country, the kids are the future of everything. So therefore, I would want to think, okay, well, the next generation of these kids, like our kids, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the future of this franchise. So let's focus on that. Is how
Yeah.
I would think I would pitch it. But
Me personally, I would go with the founders, simply because it's new. It's could tell us. I've always, since
see,
I've
I
read Harry
think
Potter, I've
that
always been so fascinated by Hogwarts and all of
now
its secrets.
I
I
could
would
see
love that.
that too, but then like at the same time, if you're trying to, there's a lot of the fan base that if you
Hmm.
don't involve the Harry,
Original
Ron,
cast.
Hermione
Oh,
aspect of it, they're gonna lose a lot of interest. So my
oh,
way of
definitely,
thinking
definitely.
is still keep it relevant to these fans, but also reach a new level of fans, and that's why I said I would go the way I said I
Yeah,
would go.
from
But
I think from a success standpoint, I think anything with the original cast would do better. I do
Yeah,
believe
I
that.
think so.
And
I think
then
so too.
if that series did good, then maybe they could do a spin-off show of it talking about with the founders or something along those lines. But I think to get people at least initially drawn to it, I think it would
See,
have to be the
I
original
think
cast.
I think the one about me personally, I think. So don't get me wrong. I have interest in the founders of Hogwarts too, but I think that would do better as like a prequel type movie
Yeah. You
than
know
it
what? Yeah,
would
you're
a
right. You're right on that
series.
one. I don't know why that hasn't even been done. Like to me, I feel like that would be why Fantastic Beasts when you could have gone in that direction.
Because Warner Brothers hasn't hired us. We're the
I
geniuses.
know. See if you're out there, Warner Brothers, hire us here at Rants or Us. We've got lots of ideas. Just check out some of our videos where we do all these theories on things. So overall, but I mean overall, I am excited to see this series.
I'm excited to see it, and I just kind of see. I'm kind of that's my way of thinking. I guess is I hope it's something my kids can get into. So
Yeah, I do too. I do
that's
too.
why I say to go the other route with their kids, and like a
Continue the
Harry
story.
Potter next generation type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's I mean that's what I think about now is I want something that my kids would enjoy, and I think if they read the books and then they
I
could
just
just
don't
move to the series,
like
I
what
think
you
it would be
like
perfect.
like what you were saying about it being on HBO Max and worrying about it being too dark. I don't want it to be something that I can't watch around my kids.
Yes, I that's me. I just always work.
I would never have time to watch it if that's the case. Cause
You know what? You know, and it's so weird. It's one thing that has stuck with me, and I remember it as a teenager when the first Transformer movie, come out. My brother, he had some young kids at the time, and he went to go see the first Transformer movie, and there was a little bit of cursing in it. And he's like, if I would have known that, I would never taken my kids to see it. He said, and
and
because of
like
the
the sexual.
yeah, and the sexual stuff that was with it. But I mean, he went there believing because he was a fan of Transformers as a kid that it was going to be for kids, and it wasn't necessarily that way. And that's always stuck with me to this day because I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that is how many people didn't get to see that movie growing up or until later on,
right,
simply because of
right.
a few scenes.
And I don't want this series to be
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I don't want that either. But I mean,
So
overall, that's pretty much all I got on it. You got anything else to add on it?
that's it for me.
I
I'm
think we're
excited about it, but I just kind of I want to get more information, and I'm sure we'll do
yeah,
more videos as things come to light over this topic.
yeah,
So
and
stay tuned.
HBO Max, if you're listening, we're here. So and we're free to be hired anytime.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but all right, guys, y'all take care. Thanks for watching.